Hello, everybody. Buddy with Midland, Texas. I got a question on Facebook yesterday asking if I had contacted the DPS Public Integrity Unit, also known as the PIU. See, here's the Texas Department of Public Safety Specialized Units. I'm going to go down here at the bottom. The Public Integrity Unit. Okay, the Texas Rangers Public Integrity Unit is responsible for investigating crimes committed by state officers and state employees. In 2015, the 84th Texas Legislature, House Bill 1690, created the PIU within the Texas Rangers Division of the Texas Department of Public Safety to investigate offenses against public administration. So that's exactly what was going on here. We got a public integrity problem. If you remember, there was 11 police officers, law enforcement officers, that accidentally caught themselves on camera. They tried to disable the camera, covering up the premeditated home invasion, capital murder attempt on my life. Okay, it took 6 years and a $2,000 reward to get them identified. This was sent to the Attorney General, to the District Attorney Nodoff, to Paxton, to the Chief of Police, to the Mayor. Everybody that was anybody knew about it, but the public, they were kept ignorant of these facts. And so I'm going to explain the story of the PIU in Texas right here. And they're the one, like I said, are supposed to investigate allegations, corruptions for public officers. And that's the problem we have here. Okay, in 2017, I was emailing facts and evidence to Texas Attorney General Greg Paxton's office when I got a message from Captain Gregory Lucas, who was the law enforcement liaison for the office of the Texas Attorney General. He wrote, "Sir, our agency does not have the original jurisdiction to investigate your complaint. The Texas Rangers has a PIU, so you can email your complaint to them at rangers@dps.texas.gov. That's just the standard Texas Rangers email address. I've contacted, I can't even tell you how many times. I did as advised and contacted the PIU, but they never replied. I was then contacted by local Texas Rangers Jeffery Strain, who told me that he was not with the PIU. I was concerned that he would be personal friends and there would be bias with some of the 11 secret police that had accidentally started a security camera and caught themselves planting evidence and staging the crime scene. At this time, I had a reward offered for their identity. This is clearly a public integrity issue, and that is what that group was created for, but the Texas Rangers pulled a fast one on me. Ranger Strain asked for the complete story, so I emailed him over 30 fact-filled emails. He rarely asked any questions and then finally quit replying, while the crimes against me have continued to this day, and the other many crime victims. I later got a message from a Facebook friend that says, "I went to school and graduated with Jeff Strain. I know for a fact he is personal friends with MPD officers April Chandler and Todd Stanley. Just so you know, sir, I highly doubt him not helping to cover up things his friends were involved in. They've been friends since junior high." In 2018, Empire Private Investigations collected the $2,000 reward money. That was 6 years after the murder attempt that I had offered, and identified all 11 of the secret police. And April Chandler was one of them. The next year, in 2019, 7 years after this home invasion and premeditated capital murder attempt, I found out there was a police report all along that the police had been illegally withholding from me. The PI had identified 6 people whose names had been illegally omitted from the police report, and more importantly, it time-stamped 5 MPD officers, Davis, Dickey, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale, at or in my home, that were not seen arriving on the security cameras that saw Martin County Sheriff John Woodward and the late Midland County Deputy Mike Naylor arriving minutes earlier. They were seen on the cameras. Those were 2 LEOs whose names had been omitted. I'm talking about Woodward and Naylor. Their names were missing from the police report. With proof that all of my other doors were secured with extra locks, this proved that those police were under my home, and it was somebody under my home that had cut my phone lines and shot me. The ex-wife had already told me there was a trap door here. I saw in the police reports that April Chandler stated that she climbed in my truck at the 7-Eleven store minutes after the murder attempt, but this was a lie, as it was Detective Rosie Rodriguez that had done that. And Rodriguez claimed that she wasn't even there. They both lied and falsified the police reports. That's one example. I was seen crawling out of my home at 10:42 p.m. and 21 minutes later, MPD officer April Chandler was filling out an emergency detention form for the hospital. She wrote, "Mr. Webb showed paranoia to the extent that he caused himself to suffer a gunshot wound to the ankle." You could see where she started to write that I'd shot myself and scribbled that out and changed her wording. Obviously, she knew that was a direct lie, and this was a murder attempt just like the evidence shows it is. On the police informational report, April Chandler wrote that she'd found my voice recorder and my 222 guns, which were checked in the MPD evidence. But when I got the evidence logs, I noticed that Sergeant Matt Davis had checked in the guns, but the voice recorder had not been. This is more proof that April Chandler, Officer April Chandler, the personal friend of Texas Rangers Strain, lied on the police report. Again, that's a felony. I had told Detective Rosie Rodriguez at the hospital that proof was at my house and told her about the voice recorder in my closet. This recorder had recorded the burglar alarms going off before I was shot and proved that I was shot during a home invasion. See, them corrupt police are saying I shot myself, and they're leaving out the part that this was a home invasion premeditated murder attempt. This recorder was checked into evidence after I made a big point of the police stealing evidence in a murder attempt that I told them about. Somebody had scribbled out one piece of evidence and hand wrote in spent shot shell and voice recorder. What the spent shot shell was I noticed there wasn't a used or empty shotgun shell in evidence, and it would have had to been there if I had shot myself, right? And more than that, the CSI Marty Barrett that had checked in 4 live shells for my gun, he couldn't even got them live shells out unless he unloaded the used shell that was in the gun if I had shot myself. But I didn't shoot myself. Somebody under my home shot me, as this was a premeditated murder attempt, and now we know police were under my home. It looks like this was done right after the protective order hearing in 2013, and then Sergeant Matt Davis quit the police department a week later. He didn't retire, he quit. In 2019, he wrote on my YouTube channel, "I stole the evidence and nobody will ever find out, buddy." He was bragging about stealing evidence in a premeditated murder attempt. That's how corrupt the Midland police is. They brag about it online after they're involved in capital attempted murders. And 2 days after the murder attempt, April Chandler created a permanent record attached to my name stating that I was a paranoid schizophrenic when I had not been diagnosed with this horrific disease, nor do I have it. And in fact, I was cleared by mental health at the hospital by real doctors. I was a 28-year company man, homeowner, and granddad who never had a felony. To make this worse, I was reporting burglaries to the police over a year before I was shot during the burglary of my home. Some people have wondered if the murder attempt was because I was reporting crimes to the police that they were involved in committing. This unprecedented corruption has allowed thousands of crimes to be committed. Here's an example. I first reported people in my attic in January 2011, and then I was shot with burglar alarms going in my attic in January 2012. I've now identified over 50 other homeowners reporting people in the attic, with more than a dozen in Midland and another dozen in Odessa. That's the tip of the iceberg. Many of these calls were recorded from my police scanner, so they can't deny it, so they just ignore it. The last time I heard somebody in my attic was today. These crimes have never stopped. And now proof has been found showing that I was not shot with my gun, as falsely reported by these corrupt police, which makes this a capital murder attempt. Once again, this has been ignored. See, it's not hard to figure out if I wasn't shot with my gun, I was shot with another gun, right? And multiple people documented saying underground homes are here. And proof was found showing that multiple people have said that tunnels and underground homes are here, with many details. One of those people was a recent candidate for Midland Sheriff, Joe Lozano. I had secretly recorded him telling me the underground homes were the hideout for the late Sheriff Gary Painter. In addition, supporting evidence was found on old Google Maps, and it looks like one of the 4 3-bedroom $1 million underground homes is located in my backyard. I told the city of Midland about this, and the underground home in my backyard shown on Google Maps was deleted about a week later. And proof was found showing that Aaron Packelhofer told me that 4 people had been murdered, died in my home before they cut my phone lines and shot me. And I recorded another woman telling me they were having pedophile parties in the underground homes. Proof of this is now posted to YouTube, that phone call and video. I've had more death threats than I can count since being shot with my phone lines cut, as it's clear they've tried to terrorize me into selling my home and moving. This terrorism is being allowed by law enforcement, and no amount of proof or evidence seems to make a difference. One of the death threats was from Lance Eggleston, that told me, "We have access to your residence at all times. Nobody will ever believe your story. You'll be silenced, not if, but when." Another guy told me, he said, I had two choices. I could either move or meet God early. This is what public corruption looks like. Yes, I contacted the PIU. Here, let me show you just a few of the screenshots. What I did was I emailed this. I'll show you in a minute to the Texas Rangers Public Integrity Unit, but here, this is going back to 2017, February 22nd, and this is from Texas Ranger Jeffery Strain. And I asked him, "Are you with the PIU?" You know, because that's who I was advised to contact by the Texas Attorney General Paxton's office. He says, "No, I'm not with the PIU. That's out of Austin." Yes, you contact them, and they assign me to look at your allegations, you know. Well, then here later, you know, I get a message from a Facebook friend that says, "I'm at school and graduated Jeff Strain." He's personal friends with April Chandler. And April Chandler falsified police reports, tampered with evidence, proven to. And, you know, and obviously that's what his buddy, he was covering up for his friend, his you know, lifelong friend that he went to junior high with, you know. I already showed you about the PIU when it was created. They've made a mockery of our justice system in Texas. I mean, I think, you know, I mean, here I've reported public corruption, and thanks to public corruption, nothing's happened. Okay, and today, this was yesterday, I sent this PIU, this story, along with 27 pictures. And I said, my title was, "Please forward to the Public Integrity Unit," because it goes to the Texas Rangers main email address that I sent to. And basically, I copied and pasted what I just told you. And that wasn't even all of it, you know, my contact information, all that. Whether they'll do anything or not, I have no idea, you know. And it's just outright lawlessness what's going on here in Texas. They're breaking into homes all over. And if you try to stop it on your own, you're murdered with the help of these corrupt police that really need to be arrested. This needs to stop. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.